So, hello YouTube, welcome back to yet another podcast. Spotify too. It's been a while, I
Yes,
know. It's been so
a
long.
long time.
Yeah. And thanks to me getting a job, which is work from office. I mean, Sharon is
Yep.
still free at home. She can still. I mean, if you guys want to listen to Sharon's voice all alone, fine. I don't mind. You guys can go ahead and tell us that in the comments. But,
Mm,
anyways, yeah. The reason why it didn't happen was because I was not free one bit.
Hectic, very, very hectic schedule.
Very hectic. Trust me.
Yeah.
I, in fact, I just came back from office an hour back, went freshened up, cleaned up my room a little bit so that good enough for recording, and then here we go. Like there is zero time nowadays in my hand. I don't know how long this video is gonna take to edit. Anyhow, let's not waste any
Yeah.
more time. Let's get into it. And before we dive into the episode, a quick little disclaimer to all our viewers or listeners, wherever you guys get your fix. This podcast might contain sexual or graphical references to crime scenes. If you guys are easily triggered by that, feel free to click away or switch away or watch whatever else suits you, keeps your mind in check. Also, this podcast is just going to be a normal discussion of the
Discussion.
entire crime, not a one to one readout of a script or the document of the crime itself.
And yeah, whatever information has been taken for this particular case is right off of the internet, which is a public domain. You'll find it easily. Nothing has been, fabricated. So, yeah, that's about it.
Although, again, it is internet, so there are many sources which do fabricate information, so we might not
True.
be 100% true to the facts, but at least close by to the story.
Yeah, and nothing that is said over here is, pinpointing anyone or trying to harm anyone's feelings. We are just the messengers. We're just putting out a case for you, whatever we have read off of the internet. So, yep.
So, this case, Sharon,
Yeah.
it was a
What do you
doozy.
think?
It was a doozy.
Yeah, I mean, 2 months, no, not 2 months, sorry, a month on this case, honestly, it took a toll on my
I mean,
mental health.
most of the research work was done by Sharon this time because I hardly had any time, like I said. And although I did know about this case even before, I had heard about it, I had read about it much before, like last year, even before I had started this podcast thingy. So
Mm.
I do know a bit about this case, and
Well,
back then itself, it was quite a lot for me.
I honestly didn't know such a person existed and he could pull off, so many murders without any trace of guilt or remorse. But wait, our audience don't even know who we're
They don't
talking
even know who
about
we're
right now.
talking about. Well,
Well, so, who we were talking about is the man who single handedly terrorized not a handful of people but the whole city of Mumbai. And Diablo, Mumbai has a famous tagline to it, right?
yep, a city that never sleeps. And
A
I've come
city
on,
that
I've
never
heard that so
sleeps.
many times by now. I will sleep.
Exactly. And Mumbai, being the city of hustle and bustle, a lot of people walking here and there, blah blah blah. In the year, I mean, during 1960s, the people were so terrorized by this man that they would go back home by 7 o'clock, shut their doors, shut their windows, and never come out for the rest of the night. This man was Raman Raghav,
The Jack the Ripper of India.
the Jack the Ripper of India, or as we would like to call him, the Nightcrawler.
Yeah. Come on, now we've got the rights
Yes.
to give fancy names to these killers, isn't
Yes.
it?
Yep.
Anyways, so where are we starting? Oh, There
Well,
is literally like nowhere to start in this case. This
there
case,
is nowhere to start, I mean, uh, well, everything. See, we'll not be giving you the background check on Raman Raghav right away
yeah,
because that kind of spoils the whole
whole story. Yeah.
suspicion, the whole curiosity of the story. So, probably we'll start from where the murders began.
That is exactly why we are going with this approach, the discussion way of approach. Because if you put it in
Right.
a script, everything comes in a haphazard order, and then
Hmm.
the charm of the story just dies. So, anyways, the story, it started some 68, right? I mean,
1968.
started or
July.
it was around 1968.
Actually, that is not the start. It
Okay, our
people
discussion starts at 1968.
our discussion starts at 1968.
And the setting is Mumbai. This dude, my god. By now, he had already killed 40 people, if I'm not wrong. Isn't it?
Well, not by now, but he was getting there. He was getting there.
Is getting there.
Yep.
This dude. Oh my god. And things started getting heated up when the numbers started increasing because, come on,
Yep.
no one literally on the streets of Mumbai felt safe. And for our foreign viewers, Mumbai is a big place. Indian viewers, whoever have come here from Desi Crime, oh man, you guys know how Mumbai is. So yeah,
Yes.
Mumbai is a huge place. It's a very vivid place. You'll find very different kinds of people over there. It's a
No,
mix of
yeah, a lot of
everything.
different kinds.
Yeah, it's a mix of
Yeah.
rich and poor. And if you remove one from the other, Mumbai isn't going to survive. I can tell you that much. So, such a huge population was terrified by this person, Raman Raghav.
Well, small places, well, even foreigners themselves
Yep.
know the place Mumbai.
It's a pretty
Back then, though.
famous place.
Right. Back then, it was called Bombay. Right now, it's called Mumbai.
Mumbai, yeah. Let's see. So, heading right into however he committed his murders, this dude would literally go around houses in the night, like we said, a night crawler, with his weapon. And his choice of weapon was a crowbar or a rod in the shape of an L,
Yeah.
you can say. And this dude would literally bludgeon every single person to death out there.
Well, these murders were not simple murders. He did not just go around committing the random stuff. He had a specific modus operandi, and the three things common in all of his murders. The first one being, he would target people who were usually poor or lived in slums or huts
Or
and were
homeless
pavement
people for that
dwellers.
matter.
Homeless people, yes. The second one is the fact that he would go around and attack the people's heads specifically using the rod, like Diablo said, it was an L-shaped rod. He would bludgeon their heads. And the third was the fact that he committed all these murders in the night. No murder was committed during the daytime. All these murders were in the night.
Well, this was a modus operandi that was sketched out by the police. This wasn't the one which he admitted
Right.
to. The one which he
Right.
admits to is even more mind-boggling.
Yeah.
Well, where do we start? This thing just has no start to it. July 19... I mean, we
Well-
already have started. You guys know a bit about it already. 19...
Well, let's start from the murders the first few murders that the police found out in 1968, which took place in Borivali. So, Borivali is another slum area, you can say, near...
pretty popular
I mean,
place.
in Mumbai.
Many Indians must be knowing about Borivali already.
Yeah. And so this is where Mumbai police first get to know about a murder which had taken place in a slum area. And when they go and investigate, they see that a man had been killed, his head bludgeoned, and he was outside a hut. Although the police tried finding traces of, clues or anything, but they couldn't find anything. They did file a case. They did register this murder, but they didn't take much action because they brushed it off thinking this murder was revenge driven.
Well, this wasn't the only time that a murder was registered, there was one more. So basically, this one time, what happens is this guy is going to work, and he works in a textile mill, by the way, and he's finished his work. He's probably coming back home in the evening, and that point of time he crosses path with a lady who's wearing a bit of jewelry and looks like gold jewelry to him, so he set his eyes on her. And mind you, this guy does have a habit of robbing and nabbing things. So this dude ends up following the lady secretly, tailing her all the way back to her house. And probably the evening time wasn't good enough for him to loot her. So he makes a plan probably and comes back with his weapon in the night. And this lady stays in a hut as well. So obviously security isn't that great. At the end, he just does what he does the best. He breaks into the house, uh, nabs the jewelry, kills the lady in the process, and kills the child as well. Sadly, kills the child as well. Takes the jewelry, and before he could leave, he does a very horrendous thing. He sleeps with the corpse. Basically, for people who did not understand, he sexually assaults the corpse of the lady, and this was admitted by him as well. I'm not making this up. He had
He
admitted
admitted
this.
it, and the statement which he gave, I'm not gonna tell you guys, it made me gag. It honestly made me gag the way he explained what he did to the cops. It's okay.
And the fact that this guy also stated that the lady was sleeping naked.
Right.
Never mind. I mean, if you want to tell the gag worthy thing, you can tell it, Sharon. There is graphical thing over here, so yeah.
Well, so basically, he states that he noticed this woman sleeping naked. He kills her, and now he's aroused by the naked woman. So, what he did was he had intercourse with her, and he also says that he sucked the milk out of her breasts because, come on, she had an infant, so she was lactating at the point. So, and he couldn't resist the sweetness of the milk, and yeah,
This was all admitted by him. We are not making shit up.
he said it in a
Yeah.
statement himself.
And this was one case. Another case was wherein, like, he again set his eyes on another family the same way. And this time the lady also had a husband, so, and a child. So this time I don't know exactly how he sets his eyes on them, but he does. And then he ends up doing the same thing. But this time first he kills the husband, who puts up a fight, but still this guy overpowers him. And then he kills the lady. I guess he was again going to do the same thing with this lady as well after killing her, but for at least I mean, there is no fortunate thing over here. The lady is already dead, but
Well, yeah.
fortunate or unfortunate, I don't know, whatever it is, but this time the baby starts screaming and crying. Sadly, this dude, I think he kills this baby as well, if I'm not wrong. He kills this baby.
He does.
But this has already caused a commotion in the area,
A commotion.
and people are trying to rush to help. So, in this hodgepodge, this guy ends up leaving his murder weapon and his umbrella at the crime scene and going away. Keep that thought in your mind until Sharon can tell you more about this.
Again, also remember another important point. It was the fact that Mumbai was in rainy season at that point of time,
Yeah.
so there would always be,
Constant rains.
showers of
Yeah.
rain, constant rain. Yes. So now, like Diablo said, in all this commotion, he left his rod and his umbrella, and he fled the scene. Now, when the police came to investigate this, they find the rod, they find the umbrella, they gave a proper description of the rod, saying it's in the shape of an L, like we said. But you must be thinking, ki, yeah, I mean, the weapons are here, there should be fingerprints. Nah, The fingerprints were washed away because of the rain. Now, I'm not sure if that is possible for fingerprints to be washed off in water. I'm not sure about that.
Well, as long as the prints are not oily, uh, just a normal print can get washed off of any surface.
Oh,
So,
I will for it to be washed away.
plus a metal rod, probably I'm thinking it must be a crude iron rod, so might not be having any kind of polish or stain or any kind of thing on it. So maybe the rain might have removed the fingerprints in form of rust.
It could be. It could be.
How long was it
But
since they found the thing?
the next morning. It was
The next morning, then I don't think it's going to
Right.
be rust. Probably it just got washed away.
Because all these murders, obviously it was in the night. So by morning, this man never hid the bodies anywhere. He just left it where he,
Killed them.
killed
He
them.
just left
and
it in the
would just
crime
walk
scene
away.
and went.
He just left it in the crime scene. So if people can't notice that, then they are blind. So yeah, obviously they did notice the body, and
So they are not blind.
phone call was made. Yes, so they were not blind. But yeah, now comes the murder that took place in this locality called Parekh Nagar. Now here, same scene, but this time a man was killed. But same scene, head was bludgeoned, man was left lying outside. But when police came to, investigate the crime scene, they noticed that there were fingerprints on the portrait. There was a portrait of Shiva in this guy's house, if I'm not wrong. And they noticed fingerprints on this portrait. And when they, took a DNA of the fingerprint, they got to know that this is someone's fingerprint. This is the fingerprint of a man named Raman Raghav. And finally,
And the
it was
reason
a
they
huge
could match those two together was because he had
Right.
prior records of robbery and petty thefts, basically,
Yes.
in different parts of Maharashtra. And
Yeah.
that had made him give his prints as police record to the government. So when they went across all these prints and DNA records, they found out that it was this man named Raman Raghav.
Yeah, and the fact that why I'm saying it was like a huge breakthrough was because in all the murders that took place during this timeline, there was not a single trace found of this man. Nobody could tell if they saw who this man was because it was in the night, it was pretty dark. Nobody could see, they could only see a shadow running. Because of this, funny thing, because of this, a lot of rumors started going around.
I was
So rumors
laughing to
like-
this. I was laughing to
Oh,
this
I-
when I heard.
I was laughing to this as well. Rumors like, see, this man had some alien presence about him because no one saw him. Nobody knew who this man was. He would just come quietly in the night, do his stuff. The next morning, people would find a dead body. People used to assume that, this man would turn into the form of a parrot or a cat and, run away or fly away. There were a lot of rumors going on about this man, and people would just. This just goes to show how much people assume stuff. But yeah.
Like, are you kidding me? A dog or a bird? A crow? A monkey?
Like whenever.
Yeah, fine.
Yeah, whenever they would see
He's a slime.
some bushes.
He's a slime. He went
Yeah,
away.
whenever they would see, bushes rustle and stuff, and or if they see a parrot flying, and when they go and see what it is, they'd find a dead body lying over there. They'd be like, oh, probably this man turned into a, parrot. I just don't know, man. It's so weird.
But you really can't blame it on them because, come on, illiteracy is also a thing. No shade to people who are illiterates, but
Well, this was the slum areas.
yeah,
So
you do.
yeah.
For them, 1 plus 1 is 4. So yeah, a man turning into a crow is very normal. No shade again. We are not pointing fingers at anyone.
And given the gravity of the situation at that point of time, like we said, people were literally scared of their lives. Like I said, people would finish their work, go back home, shut the doors, shut the windows, never come out. In fact, the men of every household took
It,
it upon
it went to
themselves.
that level because the police wasn't doing shit.
The police were not useful at all. I mean, they couldn't find any trace of clues, so the men of every household would take sticks and start patrolling around the areas in the night. And this was so sad for a few homeless people or few beggars, because they would get assaulted in the process. The people would start suspecting them and start pelting them with stones or hitting them with sticks, and the police would often have to come and, stop this
Intervene
commotion.
to stop all
Right.
this.
The situation was really bad back then.
I mean, it's just sad to see how a person can change your life so much that not only one person, in fact, the entire community, the entire state for that matter, not state, the entire city for that matter was put to a storm. My god. And at this point of time, the things started getting so bad and so out of hand that, like Sharon told, people took things into their own hand. This became 10 times worse in the future because the police was just not able to find any kind of solution or any kind of answer to this. They weren't able to find that person who was responsible for all this. So at this point of time, finally the government of Maharashtra decided to ask the CID to group up some of detectives who could probably aid the case and find some answers probably. And that point of time the police and at that point of time the police commissioner es modak was also assigned to this team along with the DCP, I guess, the DCP whose name is what, Ramakant Kulkarni. I think Ramakant got quite a lot of shade for this, isn't it? Because he was pretty
He
new
did.
in this field,
Yes.
and even many higher ups and many officials, like the police officials, did not approve of Ramakant taking over this case because he was new to crime and he didn't have much idea about this, I guess. But, anyways, something somehow clicked for him, and then he was the one who ended up taking the case. At this point of time, things had gone so out of hand that even the CID team couldn't do much. But one fortunate night, what was his name, Sharon?
His name was Alex Fialho.
Alex Fialho, yeah.
Yeah.
One night on patrol duty, Officer Alex Fialho spots a very suspicious man walking alone. Now walking alone on the streets of Mumbai at this point of time is done by nobody. So he finds this man walking alone on a secluded piece of road, and then he's just minding his own business and walking away. He also notices this man having an umbrella. This umbrella was wet. No one knows why it was wet because it wasn't even raining at that point of time, which kind of dinged up his ears. And Alex Fialho finally goes and approaches this man. And at this point of time, all of these officers had a sketch or a photo of Raman Raghav with them, so that whenever they could go to public and inquire more, they could present them the picture to refer.
Well, if you're wondering how they got their hands on sketches and photographs of Raman Raghav, like we said, they had reopened the file from his previous criminal records, and they found fingerprints and they found photographs of this man. So yeah, that's how they found it.
Well, probably it was his mugshot picture which they were having as a reference while they were going around in public inquiring. So when Alex Fialho comes across this man and apprehends him, his face resembles quite a lot with the picture he had. So again, it rings alarm bells in his head, and this man is taken under custody right then and there. He's taken back to the police station and inquired over there. There are many questions that have been shot up at him, which he could not find. Well, again, interrogation questions aren't really kept out for people to see, like public knowledge. It's not a public knowledge, you cannot help it. But Sharon, if I'm not wrong, he had a set of murders in his previous crime file as well, isn't it?
Yes, he did.
So
He
this
did.
Mumbai wasn't the only place. He had many other crimes even before the one where he had
Well,
given his fingerprints. I don't know what they were doing and how did they let him loose.
we'll get to know because his background thing, his whole background check speaks a lot about why he was not caught for the murders and how he came to be what he is or was.
Well, before his crime spree, I mean, one hell of a crime spree, I would say. Before that came to an end, his last two murders were two daily wage workers who, I guess, if I'm not wrong, they were also working in the same uh, textile mill. I don't know. I have no idea. Just an assumption. And
Yeah.
both of their names were Lalchand Jagannath. Yeah, Lalchand Jagannath and Dular Jaggi Yadav. These two men were also bludgeoned and killed, sadly. And I think, if I'm not wrong, this was where a child spots him doing the crime,
Yeah, not committing the crime but fleeing
fleeing
the
the
area.
crime scene.
A
Yeah,
child.
a child
Yes.
notices him. This is one of the witnesses which was tipped to the cops as well, and they did try investigating further. I guess that was a time when Alex Fialho was apprehending him.
You're right.
So this witness states that there was a man walking through the puddle or something like that, isn't it?
Hmm. In Hindi, it's called Nalla. I don't know.
A drainage. Literally, a man
A
walking
drainage.
through a
Yes.
drainage and clutching something under his armpits, probably his umbrella or his murder weapon, or maybe both. And he was going through this dung filled drainage after killing whoever. I mean, those two, Lalchand Jagannath and Dularjagi Yadav. Ah, I mean, thankfully, this kid saw, and probably
Yeah.
because this kid saw and reported the suspicious activity going on over there, is, I mean, could be the reason why Alex Fialho was dispatched on a patrol, and that's when he
Right.
apprehended him. What was the description that this kid gave about this man's clothing?
Well, actually, this description was not given by the kid. It was given by a woman.
Okay, another person.
And
Wow.
yes, another woman. Like we said, this guy was one of the witnesses. So, another witness was a woman who says that she spotted this man wearing khaki half pants, a blue shirt, and brown canvas shoes. So, this is another important witness which helped Inspector Alex Fiaro to nab Raman Raghav.
A bad day indeed, because he got witnessed twice.
Yes. And
A
finally,
rough
now
day.
they caught Jack the Ripper of India, Raman Raghav. Although he had many other aliases like Sindhi Talwai, Psycho Raman,
Anna,
there was another
Tambi.
one, Anna, Tambi, Veluswamy, all that. So yeah, these were all of his aliases. I have no idea why he had so many aliases, but yeah, he did.
Well, I guess that is
And now,
because he had lived in multiple places and he had done crimes. So, probably to cover that up, he would give himself multiple names and tell different people different names, is what I'm guessing. That's how I
yeah,
think he got so many names.
makes sense. But now that they have him, they have captured him and they have kept him in prison. Why don't we take a small little background check?
Sure.
Okay, so
This is
Raman
this
Raghav.
is a mindful, guys. This is a mindful.
Oh, this is a mindful. Yeah, you have to wrap your heads around this one. Okay, here goes. So now Raman Raghav was born in the year 1929 in Tirunelveli, which is a place, a district in Tamil Nadu. And this man had three siblings, uh, I think 2 brothers and 1 sister, or 3 brothers and 1 sister, I'm not sure. Again, I have no proof of this. Whatever I've read from the article is what I'm telling you. And it is said that he loved his brother a lot. He didn't love his mother though. I don't know why. This could be the fact that he hated women. He hated women, but he loved his father a lot because his father was the one who, taught him how to commit robberies. His father was the one who gave him all the, small little insights on how to commit crimes, and this is exactly why he loved his father. Both his parents, though, died pretty early, so now in order to survive, he did have to start committing crimes. So he started committing petty thefts. He would go around robbing people. All this, initially it was all small crimes. Then came where he hated women to the core. He says that this is mostly because all the women he knew of betrayed him at some point in life. For example, his first wife slept with another man, and she, had
Conceived that man's
illicit
baby.
relations. Yes, she had conceived that man's baby. And when he had tried to get married for the second time, this woman was a reject in his own words. She was a reject from another man, and she had a kid of her own, so he didn't want to marry this woman as well. And another fact was he left the village from where he stayed, which is back in Tamil Nadu, and he came to Bombay.
And the reason
saying,
why he left his village was because of his aunt, who was very jealous
yes,
of her, is what he states.
he states, we have no concrete proof of this, so yeah, we don't know. But he says his aunt was jealous of him, which is exactly why he left Tamil Nadu and came to Bombay with his friend.
With his friend at this point of time.
Yeah. So in Bombay, he and his friend start working in a textile mill, and one night, he claims that his friend's wife called Raman Raghav to sleep with her.
So you're telling she basically seduced him.
She basically tried seducing him, but Raghav, being a good friend, he rejected or refused
I
to sleep
totally
with her.
believe that.
Yeah, he refused to sleep with her, and because of this, he says that this angered the wife, and she complained to her husband the next morning, and because of this, his friend threw him out of the house.
Which is exactly what I believe.
Yep. And now this man was homeless. Because come on, Bombay is a completely new place for him, because he's lived all his life in Tamil Nadu. He didn't know where to go, he didn't know what to do. He was a homeless man, and he became a misogynist in the process. For those of you who don't know, misogynist is a person who hates women. So he becomes a misogynist in the process, and with all these frustrations, he starts committing crimes, much bigger crimes now, like murders. And he starts visiting prostitutes on a daily basis and asking them for sexual favors. So now this became like a
Lifestyle for
daily
him.
routine in his life. Yes, this is what he would do day and night. Crime, sexual favors, crime, sexual favors. This was just how it was all the time. And now comes the year 1965. This is where it all began. In fact, this is where he attacked 19 people in Bombay. 19
Like
people,
one
out
shot,
of
right?
which,
One shot and then boom, back to back, 19 people.
yes,
Yep.
back to back, every night, going around, killing these people. He managed to kill 9 people, out of which 10 survived, but they were so injured that they were actually seriously injured that they couldn't, establish any proper.
They couldn't even recollect who had done.
They couldn't even recollect who this
Who had
person
done
is.
what
So
to
that,
them.
yeah, so that was again a failure in trying to nab the criminal. So this was in the year 1965. Cut to 1966. Again, he was able to murder 24 people this time. So the total is near 33 somewhere. 9 plus 24. So the total is somewhere
And
near
he
40s.
himself admitted to 40, right?
He himself admitted to 40.
There we go.
And these murders were done near the GIP, or as it was called, Southern Railway back then. GIP basically is Great Indian Peninsular. And yeah, it was called Southern Railway back then. This is where he committed all his crimes. Now, so as he was going on killing people every night, one day he was arrested on charges of theft, not murder. He was arrested on charges of theft because people could not find, the police could not find any proof of the murder. And so, because of this, he was externed from Bombay for 2 years. Externed basically means he was kind of banned from that place for 2 years. So he was not allowed to.
And the police
enter
told
Bombay.
that if he was ever seen around Mumbai, he would be arrested right away.
Yes, he would be arrested right away. And since he was banned here, he then shifted to Pune, where again, no lesson learned. He continued his petty crimes. In fact, not petty crimes this time. He would even murder people.
And this was where, now I remember, this was where he had his previous case report to which
Yes.
they could compare, because he had killed before as well. And that's how he got away from getting arrested.
Yeah, so he would commit these crimes in the areas of Vadgaon, Dehu, and
Talegaon?
Talegaon?
Yeah, I guess.
Talegaon.
I
Please
mean,
don't butcher me. I don't know how to
it's
pronounce
okay.
these
Your
names.
souls will attain salvation if you forgive us.
Yeah, don't come for my life, please. And it was in Talegaon that this man was arrested yet again for another theft. Although it is said that he did try committing a murder over here of a tea shop owner, but he was unsuccessful.
He was unsuccessful.
He was unsuccessful, and because of this theft, and kind of the cases linked previously to him, he was sent to prison for 18 months.
Oh, he was sent to prison
And-
at this point of time.
This time he was sent to prison for 18 months, and then he was released in the year 1968, and this is where his second round of killings began, which we first spoke of, in the areas of Borivali, Kandivali, Oshiwara, all these places. It was in Bombay.
It's
He
a
went back
whole
to Bombay.
circle, guys. It's a whole circle.
Yep.
Ah, my
And
God.
This is where we link back.
My
to
head
the
is
beginning.
blasting right now. My head is blasting.
I know.
So, in
Right.
order to do this linkage of the circle, you guys remember, right? Officer Alex Fialho or Alex Fialho apprehends him and takes him under custody. So, at this point of time, when he's under custody, he's kept there for 2 days, wherein the first day on interrogation, he doesn't even utter a single word. They tried all their tricks. They tried beating him up. Nothing came out of his mouth.
Nothing.
But the second day, when they go like, fine, do you have any wishes to be fulfilled? This man specifically goes ahead and demands chicken curry, a bottle of coconut oil, a comb or a hairbrush, and a mirror. And when he's provided all this, he nicely eats up all the chicken. Oh my God, I'm hungry. He nicely eats up all this chicken curry, and he asks for a second plate when they ask him again if he has anything else. So he asks for a second plate of chicken curry, eats it up, and then takes this bottle of coconut oil, massages his head, nicely brushes himself neat, and now he's all tidied up, and now he's all ready to talk about all his crimes.
Like he was almost preparing himself.
Exactly. Exactly.
Like something he was proud of.
Probably he asked for those 2 plates of chicken curry because he knew once he was going to jail, he wasn't getting anything like that.
There was also something else he asked for, though.
Oh, yeah, he did ask for one more thing which was straight up denied. He asked for a prostitute. I mean, he asked prostitutes like twice?
No, he asked for 2 prostitutes.
My God,
One
this
to
man's got some-
perform sexual favors on, the other to help the other prostitute. I don't know how that makes sense, but yeah.
This man's got some king. But then, anyhow, he got rejected right away. And because, come on, that's not,
This isn't allowed in the
yeah,
law. Yeah.
it's not allowed in the law. What the hell, man? Anyhow, since that couldn't happen, he was satisfied with this, and now he's all ready to confess. Literally, he's ready to confess.
Ready to confess.
So at this point of time, he starts confessing about all his crimes since day one, uh, along with what he did, with which victim, and what was the motive, where it was, everything in detail. 40 people, and he could tell everything in detail. My god, he admits to all his 40 crimes. Well, again, I don't know. Could be less, could be more.
It could be more. The police themselves say that he says 40, but we know it's way more than that. The
Yeah.
number could have gone higher.
Could have gone higher. Could have even been lower than 40 because, like,
Could have.
you calculated it was somewhere around 36, isn't it? 36 or 39?
Yes, but
whatever
then
it was.
remember his second round of murders?
I
The
mean,
33 one was during 1965. We did not count the 1968 murders.
okay, 100 plus
So it
for
could
safe
be.
side.
Yes.
So at this point of time, this dude confesses everything, and like we say in Hindi, he gives a kacha chitta or a khula chitta about his entire thing, and there is no denying prison this time.
Well, in fact, he even took the police to the place where he hid his weapons. So he just so much gratefulness for 2 plates of chicken.
I mean, okay, fine, whatever. Your call, bro. So this time they took him under arrest, and then he was kept in prison. He was under life imprisonment, isn't it?
No. Actually, no. He was first given death sentence, and then he was given life imprisonment due to certain factors which we will come to. But yeah, he was initially handed over death sentence.
There's another interesting fact at the end, which links to another
yes.
case,
Yes.
which might be the next case, maybe.
Oh, maybe or maybe not. We'll never know.
Yes. So, anyways, go ahead and tell us about why his life sentence, I mean, his death
Right.
sentence was changed into a life sentence.
Right. So, once he confessed to everything, this court was then taken to the High Court, and this is where they gave him death sentence. But the defense counsel, they claimed that this man was incapable of defending himself and could probably be unsound of mind. He could probably have a mental illness, so get him checked. We don't know if he's capable of defending himself. And so in order to see if this man was unsound of mind, the High Court ordered the police surgeon and a psychiatrist from Nashik, if I'm not wrong, from Nashik prison to come and check Raman Raghav. But both of them claimed that this man was completely fine. He knew what he was doing, he was aware of all his killings, and he was not unsound of mind. He was completely, perfectly fine. But still, the defense, they were like, no, I still think something is wrong with this person. He's not able to defend himself. And so what happens now is the defense basically calls in a psychiatrist from Noir Hospital, and this person's name was Anand Patkar.
Mm-hmm.
Now this person had already interviewed
Okay,
Raman
so
Raghav.
the first time they had called a psychiatrist was a different one, and this time it's a different one.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. During the trial, though, they could, a third diagnosis was done. This was before Anand Patkar could come in. A third diagnosis was done because Raman Raghav was showing very confusing behavior. Like, he would get agitated at even the slightest things. He would get agitated if the water was served wrong, or if somebody, tried adjusting his legs. So this kind of says that, speaks a lot that, he was probably
He had temper
unsound
issues.
of mind. He had temper issues.
That's all I would say.
But
He
no.
had temper issues. There's nothing else. He was sound of mind. If he could calculate so much in his head before killing someone and planning up for the murder, he was sound of mind.
Yeah. And so basically after this they called in a psychiatrist from Noir Hospital, whose name, like I just said, was Anand Patkar. And this man had already interviewed Raman Raghav. He spent, I think, around 80 minutes with him, 80 or 90 minutes with him in order to study him thoroughly. And he also gave a report saying this man had chronic schizophrenia.
Is 80 minutes
L-
enough to diagnose someone with some mental illness?
I mean,
Doesn't it take a plethora of tests that you need to go through?
it does. It does. But I'm not sure. They say he spent 80 minutes and he could completely understand what was wrong with him.
I mean, fine, bro, you
Patkar
do you.
says,
It's your profession, you know what it is. I don't want to
yes.
tell anything.
Although Patkar says that Raman Raghav had homicidal tendencies and he would often get wireless messages in his head, and he says that these wireless messages came from something called as Kanun, which he believed was another law different from the law that he is living in. So you see the gravity of the whole thing. This man is in a totally different world. He's living in a totally different world. And Patkar goes to say that this man did not know that the killings that he committed were contrary to the law. He did not know that these were wrong because he believed in Kanun. He believed in the other law which said that people of this world are wicked. And he would always keep getting messages saying, kill these people, and that's what he kept doing.
Kalyug.
This, yeah. I have nothing to say about this. Maybe there are people who actually suffer from this. I'm not sure. This is the first time
I
I'm
mean,
hearing.
yeah, this could be a mental case, I mean, a kind of a disorder which happens. Like, depression is a disorder, it's not a
It is.
normal thing. So, it could be something like that itself.
It is.
A mind is a convoluted thing, you cannot really tell what it can do at which minute. So, yep.
Yeah, Patkar also claims that Raman Raghav was scared of his sex getting changed. He was scared that he would become a woman from a man. He was scared that people were challenging his sex. He would become homosexual. People were trying to tempt him and change his sex. This was always what he would say. He kept on repeating that I am a man, I am a man.
Do note this
And
point.
do note this point. And this was what actually the main thing.
This
that,
was
you
the
know,
main modus operandi for him.
this
His
was his
modus
main
op-
motive.
Yeah, his
Okay.
motive of
Yes.
killing people was basically uh, was the fact that whenever he felt insecure or unsafe, that he might get influenced by this other man out there to have sex with him, and basically, according to him, that would change his sex and he would become a woman.
A woman.
So he would kill them. And apart from that, whenever he killed ladies, that was to make himself a man again.
Right.
So
Actually.
him killing all these women all around the place in Mumbai and having sex with the bodies, I'm pretty sure he's done that more than once. If this is the reason, the reason for him was to become a man again. And if I'm not wrong, he also did state the fact that these wireless commands were given by Lord Shiva directly to him.
He did state that. He did state that in a few instances. But in spite of Patkar's.
Before that, he also
Mhm.
did end up calling himself Power of Shakti.
He did.
For people who don't know what a Power of Shakti means, it means a form of Durga. Durga is a goddess in our Hindu mythology. So he ends up calling himself a messenger or a warrior of Durga.
Right. And all this is in fact confirmed by, like I said, after Patkar's, whole claim, whole statement, the High Court anyways did give him death sentence. But before confirming the sentence, they hired a special medical board of 3 psychiatrists in order to, confirm for the last time if this man was actually sane or insane. and stuff like that. So these three psychiatrists conducted interviews with Raman Raghav on 5 different occasions, and these interviews would usually last 2 hours. And all the facts and statements that we gave out to you just now is confirmed by their medical report. I'll probably
This medical
read it
report
out.
was also cross-checked by Patkar's son, right? Who was also another psychiatrist.
Psychiatrist, yes.
Yep.
He had gone through his father's notes of Raman Raghav, and he confirmed that these statements put out by the special medical board is similar to what his dad had claimed. The medical board also told that Raman Raghav has a lot of delusions, and some of the delusions that he experienced were, like we said, this man believed there are two distinct worlds. One was the world that he lived in, and the other was the world of Kanun. He was a power of Shakti, like Diablo just explained, and he was always scared of his sex getting changed. He was always scared of becoming a woman. He thought that people are trying to put homosexual temptations in front of him and trying to change him
Basically,
into
all
a
that
woman.
which I just told.
Yes, and he also believed that there are 3 governments in the country. One is the Akbar government, one is the Congress government, and one is the British government. And
How
all
does
these
it make
governments
sense? I have no idea.
are trying to tempt him.
Okay. So, at this point of time, after all his diagnostics were done and this report was created, the government decides that this mind of his is actually deranged and has some kind of mental illness. So this was when they decided to commute his sentence from a death sentence to a life sentence. So basically he was sent to prison forever until he dies. So there at the age of 58, right? No, when did he get? I guess at the age of 58 itself.
I'm not sure about his age, but it was in the year 1995.
1995. I guess it was around the age of 58. I guess I heard that somewhere around, I mean, in one of these podcasts.
He was sent to which prison?
He was sent to Yerwada prison, the Yerwada jail.
The Gavit sisters must have seen him.
Yeah, must have seen him.
Yes.
Must have told hi.
Hi.
And anyways, so at this point of time, he ends up picking up a kidney disorder, I would say, a kidney disease. And then at this point of time, this is somewhere around 1995. So he's rushed to this hospital called Sassoon Hospital. So soon he ends up dying. He ends up dying on the way.
Sassoon, he ends up so soon.
I mean, Sassoon, leave it, guys. Just leave it. Cringe. It's getting cringe.
It's getting cringe, yeah.
And do note another point that when he in the jail, when in Yerwada prison, where he was held captive, there was this group which was referred to as the Joshi Abhyankar case gang, and the entire prison was scared from this group, while this group was scared of Raman Raghav.
You see the connection? I mean,
That
you can
could
just
be the
see
next case
how-
we might be covering, by the way. So
or not. But
or
yeah.
not. It depends on the response to this video. So if you guys
Yes.
have a positive response to this one, we will make that one as the next one. Otherwise, we'll go to some other case.
Yes.
As simple as that. The most important facts that I wanted to state for you guys. A pretty fun fact, I would say.
Pretty fun fact, yes.
Yeah. Indeed, the world is a small place and most of the criminals are in Yerwada jail.
Oh, actually. And Maharashtra. Maharashtra is a hub of everything, man.
I mean, a huge city, a huge place, whatnot. Crimes
Yes.
can happen easily. So yeah, that marks the end of Raman Raghav, the Jack the Ripper of India.
Yes.
Ha, what a heavy case.
What a heavy
Anyways, Joshi Abhyankar case will be next if you guys show enough support for this one.
Yep.
If not, we'll go for something else because I've had enough.
Man.
Enough's enough, guys. Come on, show me some support, please. It's
Yes.
been 3 years since me and Sharon have been grinding on YouTube.
3
The
years,
fact that
guys.
my ass is over right now. I do not have an ass anymore.
We need 200 more, and if you will, we can get there. We're
I
slowly
mean,
getting there, though.
it's not really that tough for you guys. Just share it with your friends. Just share it.
Yep.
Tell us. Share it with. Tell about us to your friends, and also tell us your experiences and stories if you have something like this. We
Yeah,
love to listen to
yeah.
that, and we might even showcase. I had put up a poll on Instagram. No, you had put up a poll on Instagram telling submissions for creepy videos, which we are
Creepy
going to
videos.
react to soon. It was a plan for Halloween, but I got work from office job at that point of time, and then poof, everything is gone. Anyways, is there anything else you want to tell, Sharon?
Nope, I think we are done here.
This case was a doozy, like I said. So yeah,
It was a doozy, yeah.
please do show your support in this video by dropping that thumbs up if you guys stuck around till now, and if you guys did, that means a lot to us because we put in a lot of effort to get cases like this for you guys. So with that being said, guys, drop a like, share this video with more crime enthusiasts like you watching right now.
Yes.
Subscribe if you haven't yet, or follow if you're on Spotify, and I will catch you next time along with Sharon. So until then, stay safe. Love you all. Stay awesome,
Stay
man.
awesome.